Chapter 4. The Hollow Truth. The rain fell steadily that morning, soaking the vale in fog and silence. Aria sat alone beneath the roots of the moonstone tree, cloaked in furs, her breath fogging the air. Her head throbbed with visions she didn't understand. Her body felt heavier with each hour, more ancient, more fragile, and more monstrous. She had been dreaming again. This time of a girl with her face, standing in a council chamber, screaming as fire consumed her parents. The screams had been real. So was the girl. So was the fire. She found it buried in the east wing of the lodge. Dust-covered, wrapped in faded velvet, tied shut with leather string. Her mother's name was etched on the inside. Ilara Velmyra. The first pages were faded memories, sketches of Aria as a baby, cradled in warm arms, laughter filling a cabin. But the entries grew darker. "They're watching us. The council. Ryker's father warned me, but I didn't listen. Dorian was right. The Velmyra power can't be hidden forever. They know Aria carries the trait. If we disappear, let her live. Let her forget. Don't let her awaken. They'll kill her to prevent the rise of the Moonblood." Aria's heart dropped into her stomach. Her parents hadn't died in a fire. They'd been murdered. And the council had sent the flames. Ryker found her in the training yard, fists clenched, eyes rimmed in silver light. "You knew," she said, voice shaking. "I suspected. You could have told me. I didn't want to break you." "You mean you didn't want me to hate them?" He didn't answer. Aria stepped toward him. "Your father tried to help my family. But Dorian's people helped burn them. Kain's clan hunted Velmyra for decades. And now you three are all I have." Ryker's voice was low. "You have me. I would have burned with you, Aria." Her lip trembled. "I don't want a war," she whispered. "Too late." Smoke rose from the southern border. The first attack came at dusk. A council battalion crossed into the vale with fire spitters and bone whips. Wolves fell in the fields. The sacred trees bled silver. Kain tore through the lines like a beast reborn. Dorian summoned shields of frost and wind. Ryker led the charge with his war cry. And Aria. She walked into the heart of battle barefoot and glowing. The flames bent around her. Arrows dissolved in midair. When she screamed, the earth split. She didn't shift. She became. Her hair lifted in the wind. Her eyes turned white. Her veins glowed silver. She reached for a council general with one hand and snapped his soul from his body. The others fell to their knees. And the council retreated, afraid. That night, the ALPHAS found her by the blood-soaked river. "You shouldn't have done that," Dorian said quietly. "They would have killed you," she replied. Ryker crouched beside her. "But at what cost, Aria? You're changing. You're not just Velmyra anymore. You're something else." "I know." Kain stepped forward, jaw clenched. "You burned a soul, Aria. That's forbidden magic." She looked up at him, tired. "You of all people shouldn't lecture me about forbidden." His eyes flinched. That hurt. "I didn't want to become this," she whispered. "But you all made me." "No," Ryker said. "Fate made you." "But you marked me," she said bitterly. "All of you did. You didn't ask. You didn't warn me." Dorian looked away. And Aria saw the truth in his silence. "You knew," she whispered. He didn't respond. "You knew what would happen if 3 marks landed on a Velmyra." "Not exactly." "You lied," Ryker snarled. "Again." Aria shook her head. "I kissed all of you. I trusted you. But now I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know if I'm the weapon they feared or the woman I used to be." Kain stepped forward. "You're both. And I still choose you." Dorian nodded slowly. "Even if you hate me." Ryker's voice cracked. "Even if you destroy me." Aria looked at them. 3 men. 3 truths. 3 heartbreaks. And a decision she wasn't ready to make. So she turned away. And disappeared into the trees. She walked until her feet bled. And when she collapsed beneath the old hollow tree, the place where the Velmyra once crowned their queens, she saw her mother in a vision. "You were born to change the law, Not bow to it, Ilara said softly. You are not a weapon, Aria. You are a choice. And the world will follow what you choose next. Aria wept. And when she stood, her marks glowed gold. No longer burning. But balanced. Not claimed by three. Claimed by none. Chapter 5. The Last Moonborn. The full moon hung low in the sky, enormous and red, the blood moon. The last time it had appeared, the world had changed. Tonight, it would change again. But Aria wasn't in the Vale anymore. She was in chains. The council had taken her the night she disappeared into the trees. They'd used sacred ash and frostfire cuffs to weaken her. Her power, once a storm inside her, was now a flicker. She knelt in a marble chamber, surrounded by the High Council, 9 elders cloaked in bone, their faces hidden behind carved masks. You have become the prophecy's end, the High Seer hissed. Too powerful. Too unruled. I never asked for any of this, Aria rasped. You carry all 3 marks. You turned your back on each. The bond is breaking, and the world breaks with it. I didn't break the bond, she whispered. I rewrote it. They raised the blade. The only way to restore balance is to erase you. Back in the Vale, the ALPHAS stood in the ruins of the sacred glade. She's gone, Ryker said, his voice ragged. She went to protect us, Dorian muttered. Kain punched a tree so hard it split. And we let her. The moonstone tree was dying. Its silver leaves fell like ash. The bond is unraveling, Dorian said, eyes flickering. If she dies under the blood moon. She won't, Ryker growled. They turned to the sacred pool. Its surface shimmered. Then, Aria's face. Bleeding. Bound. Alive. Barely. We don't have time, Kain said. Ryker nodded once. Then we go together. No more blood feuds. No more pride. Dorian drew his blade. For her. They all cut their palms. One final blood pact. The water turned silver. And the ground trembled beneath them. The blade hovered over Aria's chest. She closed her eyes. Then, boom. The wall exploded inward. 3 wolves burst through in a flurry of power and fury. Black, silver, and russet. They tore through the guards like fire through parchment. Ryker shifted midair and caught the executioner by the throat. Touch her, and I'll gut you twice. Dorian sent a shockwave of frost through the floor, freezing the council's feet in place. Kain landed beside Aria, biting through her cuffs with a snarl. She collapsed into his arms. You came, she breathed. He pulled her close. We'll always come. But the seer was already chanting. Blood moon rising, mark collapsing, Velmyra must fall. The ritual stone glowed. Get her out. Ryker roared. Dorian opened a portal of ice, a last desperate spell, but the energy swallowed Aria first. Kain lunged. Too late. The world was white. Time stilled. And Aria floated in a space between life and death. Then she heard them. Her ALPHAS. Not as voices, but as echoes of love. Memories. Kisses. Pain. Promises. She opened her eyes, and they glowed white-silver gold. Her hair turned moonlight. Her skin shimmered. Her body rose, and with it power. She had become Lunaris, the final Velmyra form. Not wolf. Not woman. Not goddess. Something more. She stood on the mountaintop outside the council fortress as the blood moon bathed her in light. The council fell to their knees. And she spoke. The old laws are broken. You feared the Moonblood. You feared freedom. You chained the world to fear. I break your chains. She raised her hand. And the mark law, the one that bound wolves by fate, was shattered in a single flash of light. No more forced bonds. No more alpha rule. Just choice. When she awoke, it was over. The fortress was gone. The Vale was whole again. But Aria didn't remember them. She remembered fire. A woman's voice. Her own name. But not the marks. Not the wolves. Not them. She doesn't know us, Dorian whispered. She saved us all, Kain said. And we can't even say thank you. Ryker stood beside her cottage in the human world, dressed in a worn jacket, watching her smile at a bookshop window. "She's at peace," he said. And that was all she ever wanted. Dorian turned to walk away. Kain followed. Ryker lingered. Just as he turned to go, Aria looked up, paused, tilted her head. Her eyes narrowed at the three of them in the distance. And for a heartbeat, she smiled. Chapter 6. Love Beyond the Mark. A year passed. The veil had changed. No more forced mockings. No more rigid hierarchies. Packs began electing councils instead of appointing bloodline heirs. Rogues were offered redemption rather than hunted. The sacred trees bloomed again. And the woman who'd changed everything? She lived far away now, in the human world, as if she'd never touched magic, as if she'd never been a goddess. Aria worked at a second-hand bookstore on the edge of a sleepy village. She lived above the shop in a tiny flat with plants on the balcony and journals stacked by the bed. She was happy. Mostly. Except for the dreams. The ones with eyes like gold, silver, and forest green. The ones with forests that whispered her name. She had accepted, long ago, that she had lost something. But she didn't know what. Not until the man in the black jacket walked through the shop door. It was Ryker who entered first, quiet as thunder. He didn't speak right away. Just stood at the counter with a worn book in hand. She tilted her head. "You look familiar." He smiled. "I get that a lot." She took the book from him. "Old Northern Tales. Good choice. Some of these stories are brutal." "So I've heard." Their fingers brushed. A jolt. She flinched. So did he. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "That was familiar," he said. She looked up, and her eyes widened. Behind him, two more men had entered. One with silver hair and unreadable eyes. The other with tattoos under his collar and a scar along his brow. Aria stepped back. Her heart raced. She didn't remember them. But her soul ached. They didn't tell her the whole truth. Not at first. Just names. Ryker. Dorian. Kain. They told her they used to know someone like her. That they came to say thank you for something they couldn't explain. But Aria didn't want them to leave. So she invited them up for tea. That night, she dreamed again. But this time, it wasn't chaos. It was love. Kisses beneath moonlight. A silver tree. A promise whispered in three voices. "We never wanted to own you. We only wanted to choose you, if you'd choose us too." She woke in tears. Ryker was on the couch. She walked to him, sat beside him, and placed her hand on his. "I dreamed of you." He turned to her slowly. "Tell me." So she did. And by the time the sun rose, she remembered it all. They didn't ask her to return. They didn't pressure her to relive what she'd sacrificed. They only stayed. 4 days. Then weeks. Helping her shelve books. Laugh. Heal. And one by one, they kissed her again. Not with desperation, but devotion. This time, she kissed them back with choice. 1 year later, Aria stood beneath a blooming silver tree in the middle of the village square. Children played around it. Wolves lounged lazily in the shade. She wore no crown, held no scepter, but every pack sent an emissary for her festival. The Peaceborn Day, named after her. She looked over at the 3 men she once feared, once loved, once forgotten. Now they were her family. They stood beside her not as alphas, but as equals. She raised her cup to new laws, new choices, and new legends. Cheers rang out across the square. As the wind lifted her hair, she heard it again, an old voice in her soul. You were born to rewrite the ending. And she had. Epilogue, Aria's final page. Later that night, she returned to her bookshop and wrote the final words in her journal. I was marked by 3 alphas. I was hunted, betrayed, broken, and reborn. But I didn't choose a throne. I chose my life. I chose them. And I chose me. That was the real prophecy all along. She closed the book, set it on the shelf, and smiled.